Hello everyone, happy Friday. Jujutsu Kaisen's on break this week, so I figured it'd be time to do another Jujutsu Kaisen Q&A. I did a community post a few days ago asking you all to leave any questions you have in regards to Jujutsu Kaisen, and I'm going to answer them in this video. I think I actually got quite a few more than I did for the last one, so I don't know how long this video is going to be. But special thanks to everyone who participated in that community post and left questions. And thank you very much to all of my wonderful patrons. Special thanks to Fuse, Neo, Dijon Redden, Anthony Chavez, Honey Mustard, Zach Rowens, K-God, Chris Redfield, Scratch23, Rat, Ryzen 4K, Artist, Mac Campaign, Wave of Manga, and Sam the Ace. Thank you all very much for supporting me on Patreon. I greatly appreciate it. And if you too want to get a shout out at some point in the video, or access to reviews for solo leveling and the Boxer, you can always become a patron as well. There's a link to my Patreon down in the description. With that out of the way, let's get on to the answer part of this Q&A. I'm going to be starting from the bottom up. We'll begin with Corey Richardson, who wants to know what's up with these new hair techniques in the most recent chapter. Is this cursed energy changing or adapting to the new era? I think it is. We already know from, I think, the fan book that cursed techniques change over time. We see this mostly in projection sorcery. It apparently used to involve a different medium way back when. And then you have that technique that either Mimiko or Nanako have, I don't remember which is which, that allows you to alter things that you take a picture of using a camera. That just straight up wouldn't have existed a couple hundred years ago, so I do think that's probably what it is. No Words wants to know which characters I think will die in this arc. Honestly, I could see just about any of them dying. I'm really not sure how bloodthirsty Gege is going to be with this culling game. Any of the supporting characters are free game, honestly. And who knows what'll happen with the main characters. If there's one character that I'm very confident will die, it's probably Chozo. Just his goodbye, the fact that he's definitely the weakest out of him and Yuki, they're protecting Tengen, and Kenjaku's 100% going to be attacking Tengen Sanctuary. Chozo, I'm afraid, is not long for this world, which is very sad because Chozo is wonderful. But yeah, I would put money on him out of the entire cast getting killed this arc. Shelby Williams asks, do you think Principal Gaku will use information he got from Yaga, or will the higher-ups target him too out of fear and distrust as well now because of what he knows about the information can be a curse too? I think that is probably something he's going to be using. I feel like Gege wouldn't have done that scene if Gakuganji wasn't going to do anything with the information. It would just be kind of pointless. Will the higher-ups go after him? I do think that's a possibility. The higher-ups have shown themselves to be pretty ruthless in their self-preservation, so if they think Gakuganji could be a threat to them, then they'll eliminate him. I think it's a matter of whether or not they know that he knows what Yaga knew. A lot of knowing things required here. Javier Smallwood asks, will Yuta seriously beat Kenjaku and or Sukuna? I don't know. I think Yuta could maybe beat Kenjaku. If Sukuna is at full power, if he's 20 fingers and gets out of Yuji's body, I don't think even Yuta can beat him, at least not, Yuta in the present. He'll probably have a fight with Kenjaku. I don't know if he'll beat him, because Kenjaku's the main villain for Yuji. Yuji's the main character, he's got to be the one that beats the main villain. So, what it'll probably be is they'll have a fight, and either Yuta will lose, but wear Kenjaku down, or he'll come in with a big assist. Him and Yuji, the two MCs, are going to work together to beat Kenjaku. And I think Sukuna, we're keeping Sukuna for Gojo. When Gojo gets out, that's going to be like 2 minutes after Sukuna gets released, or vice versa. I can see it going either way. Righteous Judgment asks, who are your top 5 characters from Jujutsu Kaisen? I talked about this a long-ass time ago. I never did an actual list, but I had a tier list of characters that I liked. That was back in, last August, August of last year. I've become more informed since then. My opinions have changed a bit. My favorite character is still Nanami by a lot. Go watch my Nanami character discussion if you want to know why. Oh my god, has it been a year since that video came out? Holy shit. Nanami. After that, probably Todo, then Gojo, then Toji, and then Mahito. Mahito is number 5 in my top 5 because I absolutely fucking despise him. Like, I just have this not actually irrational, it's a pretty rational hatred. I despise Mahito with every fiber of my fucking being. And I have to give him credit for being able to make me feel so strongly about him. I have to put him up there. I love to hate him, or, loved to hate him, because he's fucking gone now, the goddamn loser. Yeah, fuck Mahito. But yeah, there you go. There's my top 5 characters. Henok asks a very long question. The long and short of it is basically, we're now introduced to the idea of this cursed realm thing. There seems to be some kind of in-between place between the real world and maybe wherever curses come from. We know big curses reincarnate after a while. Maybe the cursed realm was where Jogo was talking to Hanami and Dagon. That would explain why Sukuna was able to talk to him. So maybe it's like the realm of the dead or something. But Henok wants to know if I think Gege is going to delve further into that. Almost definitely. That's probably going to have something to do with Sukuna's plans for Megumi, something about escaping from Yuji's body, restoring his original form, something like that. Maybe, like we'll have a big necromancy technique or something. We're going to be fucking around with the spirits of the dead or something. I don't know the exact details because we don't really know what the Cursed Realm is yet. Kind of seems to be the in-between place from where curses come from and the real world. No, it's where curses come from because it's in between the metaphysical world, the mental world, the spiritual world, whatever, and the real world. So curses are formed in that in-between area. But yeah, we'll probably get something like that. Nova Chrono asks if I think we'll get some longer fights besides whatever one Yuta is going to get. I think he means in regards to, Yuta and Gojo fighting people because they just kind of blitz everybody. Yeah, probably Kenjaku and Sukuna. Those are going to be, the only other person who will be able to have a long fight with those guys is Sukuna, Kenjaku. We're going to get those. If you just mean longer fights in general, yeah, I mean, the lower tier characters aren't able to do as busted shit, so they're going to have longer fights. Zuri asks, how much money do you think Itadori would pay for Jennifer Lawrence's OnlyFans? He doesn't need to. Thanks to, whatever the fuck that big celebrity leak thing was 5 or 6 years ago. Rat asks, do you think Yuta will be taken by Kenjaku? What are your opinions on Yuki's next course of action? I have actually considered that if Yuta fights Kenjaku, Yuta may be killed and Kenjaku will take over his body. I don't know how that would work out. I have considered the possibility. I don't know. What do I think is going to be Yuki's next course of action? I think when the time comes for Kenjaku to attack Tengen, when things start going south, Yuki's going to be like, alright, peace, I'm out of here. And then we're going to find out more about, whatever the fuck her motivations are. Or, her plan. We know what her motivations are, but we don't know what her plan is for everything. KSF Superstar asks, is Megumi becoming a villain? It's possible Sukuna will turn him into a rogue sorcerer under his wing. No, I think Megumi is just more morally gray than a lot of people. He's not as, I guess, lawful good as Yuji is. He's willing to get his hands dirty if it's necessary. I think Sukuna's interest in him is more so with what's possible with Ten Shadows and how that could help Sukuna get back into the real world on his own. Kendall953 asks, aren't you still curious about Yuji's mom? Oh, we're going to learn... We're going to learn what exactly Kenjaku's 1,000-year Aizen-creating Ichigo plan was. We're going to get a flashback about that at some point. Shreyas Sharma asks, where is the story heading for the endgame, and when do you think is Sukuna's plan going to go into motion with Megumi? I think the endgame is Kenjaku starts merging with Tengen. We will probably get some kind of Golden Age flashback at some point, maybe in between this arc and the final arc, because I'm pretty sure the Culling game is going to be the penultimate arc. We're going to have this arc, and one after this is going to be the final arc. So then I guess the intermission between that would be the Golden Age flashback to see what Kenjaku was doing, what Sukuna was doing, what Tengen was doing, what any other important people from back then were doing, like Urayume and stuff. And then it's going to be the battle to defeat this new pseudo-omnipotent Kenjaku, and then probably Sukuna escaping. I bet Sukuna getting out is either going to be a wild card, or it will be a last-ditch thing if Kenjaku is losing, where he's like, oh shit, I'm going to fail, fuck you guys, you have to deal with a full-powered Sukuna now, and then Gojo gets out and they fight Sukuna, and then we'll see what happens. I don't know how dark the ending of this series is going to be. It's really a matter of how dark do you think it's going to get. WIP asks, how do you think Yuta's story will end? I don't know. I would prefer he settles down and has a happy life with the people he cares about. Like, he kind of always wanted to be able to do is, be surrounded by people that he cares about and not worry about them getting murdered by Rika. Koji asked, out of the cast, who do you think will have the most points at the end of the arc? Out of the existing cast, probably Megumi or Hakari. Yeah, probably one of those two, because Megumi's already willing to kill people, and although we haven't seen him do it, I'm fairly confident Hakari would kill someone if he had to. Gojo Satoru asks, do you think Megumi's sister will make it out of this arc alive, and if so, through what means? Yeah, probably. I mean, she'll get rescued, basically. They'll just protect her, and she'll be able to escape the Culling game. Alternatively, she dies, and Megumi's character goes in a dark direction. KSF Superstar asked another question. He said, Todo and Inumaki can get their body parts healed. The question is when, and if they're going to help Yuji's team out later, like back in Shibuya. That's not really a question, that's more of a statement. But, yeah, I could see them getting prosthetics. I don't know, I'm pretty sure they've stated that reverse curse technique can't restore limbs on other people. Inumaki doesn't really need the other arm, Todo kinda does. So I think with Todo we're mostly going to be figuring out, how does he do Boogie Woogie now that his hand is gone? And, his other hand was damaged or something. How's that going to work out? Swamp Nasty asks, between Hanami, Jogo, Dagon, and Mahito, who do you miss the most? Probably Hanami. Hanami was frankly the coolest and one of the more interesting members of the Disaster Spirits. I don't miss Mahito in the slightest. Fuck that guy. And for Jogo and Dagon, I thought they were neat, but I'm not particularly sad about them being gone. Now we have a very fitting follow-up from, I'm gonna fucking butcher this, Hoahim? I don't know how to pronounce that, I've never seen that name before. Who's the hottest cursed spirit? Obviously Jogo. I mean, obviously. Gojo Satoru asks another question. At some point, we're going to need a tier list of most to least impactful waifus in the show. Well, I can tell you right now the one at the top of that list is obviously Kenjaku. That kind of goes without saying. And the least impactful is probably Miwa. I mean, she herself knows that she's kind of useless. Neo Rose asks, what do you think Yuki's curse technique is going to be, and do you personally think she's going to end up as an antagonist in the story? I did a little bit of research. I saw some stuff regarding her name may relate to these little Japanese folklore creatures where something like if household items aren't cared for like 100 years or something, they become animated. So maybe Yuki is able to animate inanimate objects, so that would just kind of be cursed corpse creation, unless she's able to just create sentient beings out of thin air. The running theme with all of the special grade sorcerers is that they break the rules in some way, and I think the way that Yuki could break the rules for how a sorcerer is supposed to work is that she could be able to manipulate or absorb other people's cursed energy, or give other people cursed energy. Toto is a fucking genius at cursed energy manipulation, and he maybe learned how to do that because of Yuki. Who knows? Do I think she's going to end up as an antagonist? I do think that's fairly plausible. Because her plan is kind of similar to Kenjaku's. It's big global stuff. We've seen that turning people into Tojis requires some not great stuff to happen if they're not just born with it. So I think what's going to happen is Yuki is going to be someone that has good intentions. I mean, everyone being Toji sounds pretty awesome, especially if there are no more curse spirits, but she's probably going to have some unsavory means to get to those ends, and that's where she's going to come into conflict with everyone else. It's going to be like a big three-way battle between her, Kenjaku, and the main cast. Hardcreesh wants to know if I think we're going to have any other vessels that are pretty much exactly like Yuji when it comes to their relationship with the curse or sorcerer living inside them. I do think we'll probably see some people that have very close parallels to Yuji, but I don't know if we'll have anyone who's exactly the same. I think we'll have people who had experiences very similar to Yuji, but they ended up going down the dark path because of it, or they became very cold and cynical people. Although that is kind of happening to Yuji, he's still Yuji at the end of the day, and I think we're going to see some people who are not like that. Madison Murray asks if I think Nobara, Toto, and Inumaki are going to get prosthetics in the future that are going to give them, you know, kind of upgrades in combat. Toto, I think, will probably get a prosthetic hand, and that's going to help him either do Boogie Woogie or do something else. But for the others, I don't think they really need a prosthetic. Inumaki just uses his voice. Nobara's eyes aren't that important. Also, Nobara might be dead. So I don't think any of them except for Toto really need one. And I don't know if Toto is going to have any kind of like, what was suggested here, like spike knuckles or something. And not that he needs them, of course. I think his is going to be purely utility for his curse technique. And now, the final question for today. Righteous Judgment asks, do you think the Culling games can be better than the Shibuya arc? Absolutely. Anything that hasn't happened yet has the potential to be better than everything that's come before it. So the Culling game absolutely has the potential to be better than Shibuya. I have absolute confidence in saying that. Of course, we're just going to have to wait and find out how things go with the Culling game. We're not going to know how good it is until we really get into the thick of it. And even then, Shibuya just kind of kept getting better as it went on. So maybe it'll depend on how long the Culling game is. We're just going to have to wait and find out. But with that is the last question for today's Q&A. I hope you all enjoyed. Once again, thank you to everyone who left a question for this video. I appreciate it a lot. And I hope you all enjoyed. So that's all for today's video. If you enjoyed, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and click that notification bell so you don't miss any of my uploads. I do Jujutsu Kaisen chapter reactions and reviews. Every week we get a new chapter, and whenever we're on break, I usually find something like this to do in the meantime. If you enjoy discussing Jujutsu Kaisen with other people, or you just enjoy the content I produce on this channel, I highly suggest you check out my Discord server. I have links to that down in the description. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys around. Take care.